So what's up, guys? John from Heavyset Tactical here. Usually I do this part first, but I actually went outside and shot a brief hard use video just to kind of get the ball rolling. I have a bunch more planned with this specific model that I received from my guys over at Work Tuff Gear. Thank you, Mr. Lynn, Vic Lynn, and Aurora Borealis, for kind of showing me the light and allowing me to test out some of his designs first. So again, this is the Work Tuff Gear Carnivore. I'm trying to get the whole thing in frame because it's such a massive knife, and I did use it. I still have to wash it. I just wiped it off pretty good, but I wanted to leave some battle scars on there so you guys can see. And I'll put a close-up video at the end on here. You can see that polished convex edge, not one roll, not one sharp, nothing grabbing the light. Let me run my, oh man, so razor sharp, it's just scary. And that huge tip, you will never damage that tip. So, make a long story short, I just wanted to throw some specs out there, and then you guys will see me using it a little bit out behind the barn. So the overall length of this knife, from tip to tip, is 13.9 inches. The blade is 8.1 inches, so huge 8-inch blade, just a hair over 8 inches. If I line it up with the table here, yep, it's exactly 8.1. So 8.1 inch blade, 13.9 inch overall. The thickness is an astonishing, and it doesn't thin out at the handle there. The thickness down through the handle is 0.23 inches thick on the spine. And if you can see here, one feature I love about this knife, because there's a finger choil especially, and they know your hand's going to be all up in here, they have, and on all their knives, you can see right here, on all their knives, they have a super sharp 90-degree spine. But right here, at the end of the fuller, just to right here, you guys can see that edge right there. They 45'd either side and polished it a little bit. You can see it right there, nice and perfect. See on either side? They 45'd it, so it's not sharp on your finger, because this is a big knife, so you might be grabbing it funny that way or this way on the edge at a 45 instead of straight on, depending on what's going on, you know, what you're using the knife for. So they made it really available and comfortable for your thumb there. Saber grind, SK85 steel, which is a hard use. I believe their SK85 is more of a carbon steel. I'll fact check that and put it in my description here. It's a huge saber grind with the convexed edge. Most of their knives, they do this beautiful satin finished saber, which is, in my opinion, saber grinds took my place for a woodsman knife over Scandies. I still have a few Scandies I love, and the Work Tuff Gear Forester is a great Scandi. But the saber with the convex edge, it makes that thick edge last so much longer, and it's really a lot easier to maintain. It might be a little difficult to sharpen. You just got to get the hang of it. Like when I first got my first couple Fall Neven knives, you know, I had to learn how to work with a convex edge. So the width, I'm sorry, the SK85 I was talking about, the SK85 steel is 56 to 58 HRC on the HRC scale. So it's a decently hard steel, like really hard steel. And I wanted to just say, it says Carnivore here, and then right here it says Outer Limits. Outer Limits is the design input. The guys that had design input, you should check them out. outerlimits.com, I believe, and on YouTube, Outer Limits. Those guys are pretty great. And then on the other side, First Production, 06-2023, and then Work Tuff Gear. So, like I said, they have a camo one that is off the hook, but I really like the red liner in there. I think it looks really great. So the only thing I haven't touched on is the weight. The weight is 18.3 ounces. So it's got like a usable weight to it. It's heavy, and you can get that powerful swing on there. It's got this huge bird beak in the back, so you can do the 3 fingers with the pinky beneath it. You know, you can see they have the notches out for your thumb, for when you turn it upside down, you have that comfortable area for your thumb to be. And it's more of like it's more for your thumb, but it could also be used as a pinch grip if you were using this to slice something. But it's, you know, it's not like their grizzly. The reason I'm really enjoying this knife, guys, is they do this thing where they make them so bulky and thick and functional, and they use hard use steels, but they cut the steel and grind the steel, and the handle and blade geometry comes down to a way that is so usable and functional. And I always use that word with them: functional, hard use knives. And it's been really enjoyable for me. Also, there's kind of this cool like micro lines in this big fuller there. And I think that was to get the weight distributed out just right. So the weight, yeah, the weight comes out. My finger keeps wanting to slip off the handle grip, but the weight is right there, right where it should be. So it's perfect. And if I'm not mistaken, these guys drop August 4th. So in the link down in the description, I'm going to put the Work Tough Gear website, and I'm also going to put a specific link on their website for this knife. I believe it drops August 4th. I'll have to check. It's either the 4th or the 7th. But I'll have that correct information in the description. Again, I didn't want to wait till tomorrow to do a full video on the trail. I wanted to do this video today because I just have been so excited to get some videos out about this knife. It is such a great knife. And like I said, this right here, the Kydex sheath, is probably the freaking blade size of the Grizzly. It has that really fat, really huge, long, slender transition of a blade, huge blade on the Grizzly. And this is a different large knife for them. It's a different design, and I've really enjoyed it. And the huge finger choil is also 45'd off, so it's just so comfortable. You can do so many things with this knife and hold it in so many ways. It's just really comfortable. But what I love about it is they kept that super thick 0.23 inch thickness on the blade, and because of the saber grind, the tip drops off pretty abruptly. So it's just such a piercing blade, and it's so sleek and usable. But it's really tough. I mean, it would take an ungodly amount of abuse on this knife for you to start seeing you know, imperfections in it, or bending in it, or any kind of chipping in it. I mean, it's pretty crazy, guys. It's a wild experience using their big choppers. Work Tough Gear's knives are pretty epic. So they come with a belt loop. I'm sorry, a tech lock for this sheath specifically. 0 rattle. I love the sheaths that those guys do. Now, the only thing, if I could complain, if I could complain about one thing with this knife, it is the point on here. It just has a little bit of a point on the Kydex, so I'm probably gonna come right across here and just soften that point out on a belt, my belt sander. Just take it and take the tip of that sheath right off. You know, great drainage hole right here. But just functional. You know, you guys know I love that positive click. You know, it lets you know that your knife is engaged in the sheath correctly. Really great retention. they do everything in a roundabout, like, very well made way, and it's just such a delightful thing that those guys do over at Work Tough Gear. Their designs are good, but the execution of their design is good. I've seen a lot of knives where their design should be perfect, but for some reason it's just not working, or the, you know, it doesn't round out the package. Their heat treat on their SK85 and their K329, those are the only steels by them that I've had experience with, and I'm telling you guys, the convex edge on these, look at that edge. It's like a mirror polished. They take the time in the finishing process to give you this mirror polished convex edge on that saber grind. It's such a good looking knife. And what I was going to say before I wrap this this little segment up here is that they their convex edges are so brutal. They're so like sharp and usable and slicey, but brutal. You're never, you know, you might get a couple dull spots, but you could use this, literally use this knife. Just, you could use this thing, I mean, for weeks, guys, and not have to maintenance it. Like, depending on what you're using it for. As a bush knife, you know, clearing trail and making, setting up camp with it and using it for mostly wood processing. I mean, it's just that thick convex edge holds up like a beast. So yeah, this is just an epic build. I wanted to show you guys, you know, a preview video of it, and I can't wait to get on the trail with it tomorrow and use it for a lot more. I'm going to build a shelter with it tomorrow, and I'm going to take my Trailmaster along, probably shoot a video for that too. So again, thanks to Mr. Lin and Aurora Borealis and everybody in the production team at Work Tough Gear. You guys have made it available for me to, you know, purchase and enjoy your blades, and you guys sent me this one over and are helping my channel grow, and hopefully I'm helping spread the word about a knife company that, you know, I was passionate about Work Tough Gear knives long before they sent me a knife. I got the Mountain Lion, and when I ordered the Mountain Lion, guys, this was weeks before Aurora Borealis and I spoke, and I reached out to him and asked him if I could test some knives, and that's when he gave me the Forester and the Forester, the Lynx, and the Grizzly. The oh, that's just me not cutting this paper right. It didn't get hung up on anything. It's just, it's so sharp, man. And I was a huge fan. What I did was I bought the Mountain Lion because I wanted like a larger belt knife, you know, large size belt knife. And their Mountain Lion, you know, I'm sure in one of my shorts or videos you guys have seen this next to the Grizzly and the Mountain Lion. Their Mountain Lion, their Grizzly, their Forester, and their Lynx are 4 of the most solid knives I've tested, just hands down. And the price point is a huge seller. You know, their knives are very affordable and very functional. They're in that medium range of high-end knives, but they're not priced up to like $400 or $500 where you're like, oh man, you know, you can get this knife for $200, which is so reasonable. So again, I'll put all the links in the description. I'm gonna stop blowing smoke, but just know, guys, that if you want a different, something different, I mean, this design is just so different. If you guys want something different that is just end-all be-all functional survival tool, this knife is a great purchase. You know, you guys are going to love it. So again, I'll put the correct information and date and time for the drop, August 4th or 7th. I think it's the 4th, and in the description, and I'll put the links for their website. So like always, guys, I appreciate you watching my videos. Now we're going to show you some stuff of me using it out back. Just get outside and enjoy nature, you know what I mean? And this is the way that I do. I used to hunt and be an avid hunter, and when I strayed away from hunting a little bit, I've been an avid fisherman my whole life, but when I strayed away from hunting, you know, I got into hiking. This is all when I was younger, and then, you know, naturally that took me to the tools and gear and knives that come along with that, and that's how I started my love for, you know, for the hobby that I have now, which is testing out and showing you guys some of these epic blades that we can get our hands on these days. So thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to kick you to the outside footage, and have a great week. Stay safe, and like always, stay heavy. So what's up, guys? This is John from Heavyset Tactical, which I'm sure I said already. And today, I just want to show you guys the edge on this Work Tough Gear Carnivore. So I got some fresh paper here. Before I get started, I just want you guys to see that beautiful convex saber grind, but the edge is convexed. Polished convex edge. So sharp, man. I mean, you don't see a blade glide through paper like that unless that fine edge is just devilishly sharp. And they do such an impressive job. Such an impressive job of their sharpening, their end sharpening process. So I just wanted to show you guys that briefly. Just very well done edge. So now we are going to get started on some testing. You know, I think because of this overall length, large overall length, I think that this knife is going to be an excellent wood processing tool. So today I want to start with just some light batoning. The thickness of this blade, guys, cracks through that wood, and this is hard, dry wood. I'm telling you guys, this is going to be my new favorite batoner. The Grizzly and the Mountain Lion I really love using for wood processing, but I'm telling you, this Carnivore is it's not even funny. It's literally not even funny. I made a crack about the K329 Grizzly, that it does the surviving for you. And this knife is an ultimate large survival knife. It just smashes open this wood. And that tip, guys, that tip is so thick. You're never going to be in a position where you have to, you're never going to be in a position where you're able to abuse this tip, bend this tip, anything like that. Especially with the SK85. I think the HRC is like, I think I said was 56 to 58. So it's, you know, it's a softer, you know, some other steels are like 60 to 62. But this is just soft enough to be able to sharpen it really nicely. But it's super hard. Like the big thick tip on this Carnivore, it's a super hard use knife. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I was underestimating originally the amount of work that this knife will do. It essentially does everything you need it to, and I'm going to prove that in a second. This is the older, gnarliest piece of wood I could find, and it cracked through it like a joke. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I wanted to show you guys how you can choke up on this knife and really get some finer stuff done. It has this big finger choil. Has this huge finger choil. And just as I suspected, you have that big, long belly. So much usable edge. So much usable edge, guys. Look at these perfect curled over, super thin curls. It's just ridiculous. To be honest with you, it is. It's like just beyond ridiculous, the amount of you know, usability with this knife. So, make a long story short, it was a crazy crazy 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, about a week and a half since I got this knife. So I wasn't able to get out in the woods. So I'm out back behind the barn. I wanted to do at least somewhat of a hard use video and really show you guys just how gnarly these convex edges are that Work Tuff Gear puts on their larger blades. It's just so functional. Crazy. Guys, they make knives, right, that are so ridiculously usable. And that's why I love Work Tuff Gear. That's what originally drew me to Work Tuff Gear, is their convex edges are so well done that they're monstrous. I mean, they don't need tended to constantly. So you have a blade that you could take out for potentially even a couple days before you'd have to like strop it and clean it back up. And I know this because I've used some of their blades in SK85 significantly for a few days without doing any maintenance to the blade at all. And really, guys, the control that you have with such a big knife, it's funny. I mean, it's funny, literally. I know that a lot of you like survival guys, you woodsman guys, you're gonna pick this blade up and it's gonna be a little bigger. So some things I wanted to talk about briefly, right, is it came in, it was so big, and the finger choil is huge. And I didn't understand that until right now, that it's made for you to be able to use in a lot of different situations, doing a lot of different jobs. It also has a hole here and 2 holes here, so you can latch it as a spear point in a survival situation. It's got this big fuller, which has these kind of really cool micro rivets in it. I'll show you guys upstairs when we go up. But I'm telling you guys, it's so perfectly balanced. And the handle's big, so you can cock back here and get a lot of swing in. You can pull forward, hold with a hammer grip forward, or pull back forward and put your thumb on top for doing some finer work. And I showed you those curls, man. I can do really graceful, fine work with this edge. And the profile, it's such a thick blade, but it handles like my CPM 3V. It handles like my CPM 3V F4 reef knife a little bit. It has that profile that's just works really well with wood processing. That's so crazy. This thing is such a blunt, it's such a blunt instrument, but it does it in a way where you can use it for so much fine carving and fine work. You know, but if you really need to take meat off stuff, it's pretty crazy, guys. I'm telling you. I think some of you guys are going to be impressed, especially if this is your first Work Tuff Gear knife. I think some of you guys are going to be impressed. It just does such an elegant job. I mean, and it has so much bite in it. And it's a knife, guys, that you don't ever have to worry about this edge being, you don't have to worry about the edge being like really breakable and damageable. It has this really super sharp 90-degree spine. And I love the 90-degree spines on their knives is just crazy. It has these nice cutouts on the handle, so when you turn it upside down to strike a fire rod or scrape, you have that nice place to platform to put your thumb. I'm telling you, the 90-degree spines the whole way down these knives is in part why I really liked them in the first place, actually, as a company. These days you can get really nice survival knives that have no spine, like no 90-degree spine. It's just crazy, guys. It's such a usable knife. All right, follow me over here. I'm going to show you some chopping stuff. This is such a big blade and such a thick profile. This is such a big blade. You know, you can use it for your like brush clearing stuff. It's got so much swing on it. It's just crazy. So much swing on it. Guys, the potential for use with this knife is just out of hand. It is out of hand. And you know, another thing I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to delimb one of these branches. For delimbing, it doesn't have as big of a belly profile for like slicing along pieces of wood and branches, but it just is so functional. So let me grab one of these. So yeah, especially for delimbing branches and stuff. I mean, you can see it next to my body just how big this blade profile is. But for delimbing stuff, their knives are so good for wood processing in general. You could even use this as a brush knife like the Grizzly, like I like using for the Grizzly. I wish I had something bigger here so I could show you guys just how good this thing removes wood. I mean, it's just crazy. This is a woodsman knife. And you know, you can, whoa, it has such a slicey profile on it too. It's just a woodsman knife, man. And it's got that big handle so you can grab it in all kinds of weird ways. You know, if your hands are tired and you're at the end of a long day doing a survival course or surviving out in the woods, and you just have to, you have all that real estate to hold it in different ways, which I like about certain knives. If I have a small 4-inch bushcrafter with like a 5-inch handle, 4.5-inch handle, I have to hold it in that hammer position for everything, and it doesn't have a choil, it can get really really relentless to kind of keep using the same grab once your hands get tired. Like when I go out and camp for a couple days and use the same belt knife, 4-inch, 5-inch belt knife, it can get like that. This just has so much room to play, you know, so much room to move around with your hand, and you can cock back and get so much swing on it. And the edge retention on this SK85 is crazy, which I'll show you at the end of the video. I'm gonna today it's a little brief because, like I said, this is the first day it hasn't rained for a while, and I kept it a little brief today because I'm just out back. I'm going for a really nice hike tomorrow because tonight's my last night of work. So tomorrow morning I'm going for a nice long hike, and I'm going to put a more extensive video out of kind of doing this versus the Grizzly, some of the differences and the you know, things that are better with the Grizzly, things that aren't as good with this. It just smashes. I've really been becoming more and more of a fan of Work Tuff gear, and thanks to Vic Lynn for sending me this to test out and to keep. I really appreciate you very much, brother. But I just want you guys to understand the functionality of these blades that they make. Yeah, they're not American made, and they use a less conventional steel, but it's not a less functional steel. That's the whole thing here, guys. You know, I don't discredit companies like this, because I'll tell you what, this is a $200 knife. This massive survival knife that's thick enough for you to be able to continue using, like, for, oh my God, forever. And it's not going to bend or start to give. It's got that big full tang. And I'm going to do a close-up video inside so I could show you some more specs, which was at the start of the video. You know, I filmed this part first, so I keep talking in reverse. But you know, the functionality of Work Tuff gear knives for the price, you just can't beat it. And this is one of those. If I needed one knife as like a crazy survival knife, I would think about using this. And this, you know, the guys over at Outer Limits, they had a design input on this, and that's their logo there. I'll show it in the close-up video. But yeah, you know, they had a great idea. This is a thick knife, so it's not slicey. Like, you can do carving with it, trust me, and notch tent pegs, which is what I'm doing right here. But, you know, it's not as good at that. It's more of like a bush knife or like a chopper. But, you know, if I had a nice sharp Scandi companion knife like this, partnered up with the Work Tuff Gear Forester, I'm telling you guys, that's a hell of a combo. So, again, thank you so much to the guys at Work Tuff Gear and Aurora Borealis for getting me acquainted with the guys. And thanks for sending this knife over for me to use and keep. It means very much to me. My channel's growing, and it's been a very fun journey. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to put a couple more videos out this week, tomorrow, and this weekend about this knife, because I want you guys to see just how epic of an all-around knife this is. I mean, it's so big. You can use it in so many different grips and so many different ways. It's a very useful knife, and it has the lashing points to use as a spear point. Excellent spear point. And they always give such great Kydex sheaths. Thanks, guys. And like always, stay safe and stay heavy.